Hello guys and welcome back to Air Tycoon Online. Today I've actually joined up on the Star channel, and I know I haven't played this game in a hell of a long time, but maybe it's time to start playing this again. I'm not sure if I'll continue to, or if this is just a little like kind of one-off thing. Now, one thing is I can't remember exactly the best way to start in Air Tycoon actually, which is a bit embarrassing, but yep, that does seem to be what has happened. But what I am for sure on, though, is I remember strictly that oftentimes the Russian aircraft with lower satisfaction don't perform quite as well in Air Tycoon Online 3 as they did in the previous ones. So I thought maybe it would probably be more worth it to simply don't even bother with those older aircraft and just go basically with strictly Boeing and Airbus aircraft, and the other American ones, so McDonnell Douglas and well, I think it's probably 1962, so it's probably just Douglas at this time. But yeah, the reason for my thinking about that is mostly I don't plan on playing extremely actively, not accurately. Um, and one of the advantages of playing actively is you get to all the time update your routes. You get to all the time, keep adding new routes. So sometimes it's nice to be using a smaller and cheaper aircraft, so you can more consistently add and a more and get a more kind of perfect exponential growth. Oops, I forget about how the surface works, but I have to set it so that it gets 100. Don't I? It's only 38%. Now, I know you don't have to get to 100% for domestic ranged routes, but it's good to get close. So 70%, that should do. $24 for an economy ticket worth of services is honestly not great, but you know, it's not a big deal. The other thing you've noticed is I haven't actually been attempting to make these routes into stopovers. And the main reason for that is I don't, of course, once again, as I said earlier, I don't really plan on making this a really active world for me. Um, and yes, a lot of these routes will get overlapped and such. But honestly, I'm just going to try and not really care, because as long as the part of my company I'm adding in the future is mostly, good and profitable, then I won't have to worry about anything, you know what I mean? So basically what I'm saying is this part of the company I'm making right now with these very popular routes, London to Barcelona and London to Madrid, will get overlapped, of course, really quickly. But for the time being, before they get completely overlapped, they should be very profitable. So I'll just benefit from that basically as much as I can in the time being. Um, and then when the time comes that these routes will no longer be so effective anyway, then I already won't be relying on them, because I'll hopefully at least have so many stopover. Um, I'll have so many stopover routes. Uh, it just won't matter anymore. Anyways, yeah, as every game of Air Tycoon starts, of course I always start in London. I don't think I will ever change that, because I just like starting here. Um, Anyways, just seeing if there's any other quickies, like good, obvious, relatively close range routes. Basically, these ones are just to get my passenger numbers up, as well as making money. And then once my passenger numbers are up, that will of course unlock some of the achievements, which will help me more quickly grow my company. Now, for the rest of my planes, I think I'm just gonna want to do 320Bs. Let's see which one is cheaper. Okay, the the DC plane is cheaper. It holds 10 less people, or 12, flying quite a bit slower and quite a bit shorter. Now, I'm just going to go with 707. Not sure if there's actually any fleet commonality benefit. And oh, right, you don't want to shrink the business class for this kind of range. Just go 80-20 for the first few ones. And alright, everything's already nice like that. And Yeah, let's just max out how many we want to buy, of course. And then let's find some routes for them. So London to, well, because some of these bigger ones are available, I'm just going to do them. I'm not even going to make them stopover routes because I'm lazy. Oh, wait. What was the range? Oh, shoot, it's 9,300. I forgot about how strict the ranges are in this map, in this game. Yeah, as you guys know, in Airway Sim, which I've been playing a lot of recently, ranges aren't very strict in the sense you can go a little bit farther or a little bit shorter, and it's not a big deal. Um, and that's mostly because of the more realistic way in which ranges are dealt with, and the fact that it affects your maximum. Like when you have a higher range, you won't be able to carry as big of a payload, and you can stretch that quite far, but your payload is diminishing the entire time, so you probably don't want to. Um, Now, of course, none of that at all happens to be simulated um, in Air Tycoon Online. So basically, you don't really have to worry about any of it. You just go ahead and make your routes however you like, and as long as they're within the range, that's good. And if they're not in the range, you're a bit bound. So that's going to be my entire collection of direct routes. The rest of them I'm going to make into stopovers because I don't feel like anything smaller than the routes I've just made will be worth it at all as a stopover. Or not a stopover, except for Orlando, but... Ooh, I forgot Orlando's not big yet. Okay, never mind, not even Orlando. So we can go ahead and do that. Oh, and of course I need to make 100% satisfaction page. I can't remember how it's done, but it's probably just like this. Yeah, let's see if I reduce anything, if it's still 100%. Oh, crap. Set. Yeah, if I do this, for example, yep, not 100% anymore. Yeah, if my memory serves me correct, and I'm just going to trust my memory. That is, you need to spend at least that much to get 100% satisfaction, so that's what I will do. And boom, that's our first connection. Anything we can do on this side? Osaka was, of course, too far. Same with Guangzhou and Hong Kong. Can't wait till the DC-862 comes out and all of these become comfortably in range. Johannesburg. Let's go ahead and do that. And yeah, I'm just going to remind myself on the stopover conditions. What were they? They were kind of awkward, but I think I'll figure it out. How's Las Vegas at this time? Okay, it's still tiny. Ooh, Phoenix. We can do Phoenix direct. Why not? Yeah, I'm just making these kind of not perfectly ideal direct routes. Of course, later on, you guys know my strategy. Everything will be a stopover and a relatively... What I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm going to be doing stopovers to major cities like London or to Albuquerque, for example, like kind of small city, to London, and then to other kind of small city, but like not too small. I can't think of a good example right now. Just something with around 200 to 300 business and tour. And then you'll eventually be able to upgrade those to 747s or A380s and still get decent load factors as long as they're monopolies. And then there'll be routes where you'll just be really searching for any routes to make at all. For example, Jacksonville to Amsterdam to another Jacksonville-sized city, you'll probably be using A320s or something like that. Anyways, eventually, of course, there will be just very little ability to make decent routes at all, and then that's when you'll start stopping over with even tiny planes as the planes you're using to make stopovers. Yeah, let's just use some kind of classic stopover cities. Arukmi. Yeah, the way after playing Air Tycoon Online, I realized, or Airway Sim, I mean, I realized how completely unrealistic it is to make routes like the way you do in this game now. It looks like our only leaser aircraft is the DC-8. Let's go with a slightly smaller 16. Let's go 15%. 15% business clabbin, and we'll just max these out. Okay, that's only 2 somehow. We'll be able to use that for some stopovers later on. But for now, let's just keep using our DC-8s. Not much thought is going into this because I don't think there's a point to it. Yeah, I realize how I haven't played this game for a while, and I'm remembering how simple it is, I guess, because you just kind of figure out the formula for winning, and then you just repeat it kind of over and over again. Now, ooh, I just got another 100k cash, so I've got another 300 something k. I probably could figure out a more efficient way to spend it, but I am just gonna need to reduce this to about 15% too, because I'm starting to make some smaller routes with it, and go ahead and order 4 of those. And boom, there we go. Let's see, where was I gonna make a stopover to? I already used Urukmi, so I guess I'll start to use some of these Indian cities, and then later on, of course, we could put like really large aircraft on here, like A380s or just 747s, the largest ones available for whatever the time is. Should be pretty good indeed. Let's see, what other cities do we have for like DC-8s and stuff? Nairobi. Nairobi seems like a pretty good one for like the DC-8s with less range. What else do we have? Yeah, cities like Riyadh and stuff like this are all great, and of course, like it's gonna be overkill having these as stopover routes, but I mean, honestly, it's not a big deal wasting demand like this because at least it'll be yours. And later on, of course, it's going to be no problem at all to just start upgrading those. So, yeah, of course, there still is this, I guess, problem of having a slight lack of good stopover options on the Asian side that are close at least. So, we'll have to just get over that. Yeah, I'm just going to start, like, taking just every city which I remember as being decent, and yeah, just start making some of these stopover routes. Alright, that should be a good list to work off of. I think I got a bunch now. Wait, there's one. Of course, we stop in London, and where was the other side? Over here in India, of course. Okay, I still have a bunch of 320Bs, so yeah, also, as you can see, I'm leaving the pricing as default. Basically, what I plan to do with the default pricing is eventually just set everything to 1.3 quite soon, actually. I don't know what it is, but 1.3 pricing seems to have a magically efficient. It just, yeah, I don't know why, it just works. And yeah, it's what I see all the good players doing in this game. I never quite figured out why it's always seems to do the best, but it does. So, I'll loyally follow along, you know what I mean? Anyways, it does seem we are running just a little bit short on decent routes. Okay, that's obviously because my memory of where decent routes are is not serving me great, but there are tons left as it seems. Panama, Havana. Okay, let's just do this and see if I can find a roughly equivalent size city on this side. As you guys remember, I like to make the two halves of the stopover equivalent. Perfect. Let's see. I know there's very few cities around the size of Bengaluru on the other side, so just any decently large city usually does well for me. Upogata. Perfect. That's probably about as close as you're going to get. Whoops. There we go. I really can't tell what I clicked there. I think I may have misclicked something, but not a big deal. Let's see how big. Okay, there's no airport. Okay, it looks like Havana is going to be one of our better options on this side. And I'll just do like Cleveland to London, which needs more slots now. Isn't this like early slot request time great? I wish it could last like this for the whole game. And Riyadh, that seems like a decent one. And we can put our DCA on this. Our DCA isn't, worse. It's just least, so it's still actually, making as much money as it can. Then let's do Muscat to London. I'm surprised Muscat isn't bigger. Then again, it is still 1960s, so I wonder if it like. See, I always wonder if like these cities are gonna get bigger, but I rarely ever play past like 1985 in these games, because with the way that this game is so much about exponential growth, and the fact it's so easy to make money, and there's basically no threat of bankruptcy for a well-run company, which is kind of a problem with all airline simulators. There's not enough kind of random events to kind of balance out good play. At the same time, do you really want to punish your good players and kind of kill them off sometimes with random events? So, I wouldn't want that either. So, it's always an interesting, like, kind of debacle to me whether or not, like, how to balance an airline simulator, because in Airway Sim, there is no random events. People just tend to peter out if they don't do their fleet transitions properly. Otherwise, they're kind of invincible. And in this game, if they're active, they're also basically just invincible. The only way to kind of lose in this game is going inactive long enough for your maintenance to catch up to you. But anyways, guys, this is the first episode of the Star Channel in Air Tycoon. Not sure if I'm going to try for first yet, but we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? This might just be a whim where I'm kind of bored and somebody has 97 aircraft already. Where are you based? Where are you based, my friend? Alright. I forgot you can't check. How many aircraft do I have? Inventory 15? No, 15 is not bad for the first turn. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. I know you can get 19, but I forget how to do that, so yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Where's the stop?